Travel isn't always pretty, it is always comfortable. In fact, sometimes it hurts and even breaks your heart, but that's okay. The goal is that the journey should change you, leave marks on your memory, on your consciousness, in your heart, and on your body. You take something with you. Hopefully, you leave something good behind as an experience. And today, we shall be taking you to Mozambique. And I am not doing this alone. I have Tony in the studio with me. Good afternoon, Tony.
Good afternoon, Linda. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank God for today.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. You look good.
Thank you.
You're just so
Of
composed
course,
today.
I'm supposed to look good. We are going to Mozambique, so I'm supposed to
Oh,
look
really?
good.
So is this
Yeah.
how they dress in
Not
Mozambique?
really, but as a visitor, you're supposed to, look official and look serious. Look
Wow.
focused.
Based on you want to go for business or something.
course.
Oh, wow. Okay. So welcome to
My
Mozambique.
business is my journey is strictly for business purpose.
I see that. Okay, so welcome to Mozambique. So why do you love Mozambique? Why do you want to visit Mozambique?
If there's anything that strikes me about Mozambique or the Mozambicans, as they are called, is to the fact that they're actually good people. I think that's the literal meaning of Mozambique.
Mozambique, yeah.
The
Land of good
yeah,
people.
The land of good people. They are very hospitable. They are accommodating, and and even as in spite of that, their environment is as well conducive for living. You can go there and do whatever thing you want to do, and it's more of the fact that it's an African country that is still developing. You can as well go there for business purposes, just like the way I'm dressed, and go there to explore.
You're going for business.
Yeah, to explore their natural resources, to
Yeah.
making it work, and to making a lot of say wealth from their natural resources and all, because it's actually a country that happens to be colonized by Portuguese. That's why, Portugal rather. And that's why up to this moment they are still feeling that impact or the influence of the Portugal, of how they were being I don't know the word to qualify my statement right now, but the colonial rule during that time was not really favorable for them, and they really felt that impact. And up to this moment, the impact is still felt because there are so many things that are really wrong in Mozambique. But for the fact that you are going there for business purposes or for any other purpose that would likely make you want to travel there, I think it's a place that one should go and see things for yourself and experience it. And as far as Mozambique is concerned, there's no way you go to a place and then you not as well want to get involved in their cultural activities. And talking about cultural activities, you are talking about their traditions, you're talking about their language, you're talking about their way of life, and all of those things are things that you should go and have yourself involved in them. Even if you are going there for business purposes, at least you should try get yourself inclined in one or two things so as to feel or make them feel welcome. To make them feel okay, you are accepting their cultures and you are accepting their traditions and all. So don't just go there and neglect yourself. And probably for the fact that you are being driven by business, you just go there and achieve whatever thing you go. It will be as if you are coming to either to exploit them or to do one or two things that is not appropriate. So I just feel for one to travel to Mozambique, you try as much as possible that you go there to have yourself inclined in what they are doing, have yourself involved in their ways of life, and try by all means to know the necessary requirement of the things you're supposed to do and not to do, so that you not be caught wanting in the virtue of things.
Yeah, when you talk about how welcoming these people are, how good they are, just the way they welcome people, just the way they do things in Mozambique is the reason why they named it Mozambique. And they know that they are good people. So then when you tell yourself you want to travel for a business trip, you don't have a problem with that, because doing business in Mozambique, in as much as they have rich cultures, their culture is something else, very rich. So then when you talk about investing in anything, you don't have a problem with that, and you might not have any challenge because they actually want to do business with other people. But then sometimes, other people feel like when you come to their country to do business with them, they feel they can be smarter than you, or they feel they can outsmart you in doing whatever it is you want to. But the people of Mozambique are actually good people. and they do things to show you that they want to do business with you. So then if you travel for a business trip, you don't have a problem because you will definitely do your business peacefully and you will yield your profit at the end. In as much as their economy is based on agriculture, they don't really have issues about it, because when you talk about their plans and what brings income to them and all of that, they don't take it for granted, because other people can just feel like it's just a mere thing. Like once they calculate their loss, they feel they've lost a lot, even if it's just very little. That is how much they take pride in doing their businesses. That is how much they take pride in planting and farming and doing all sorts of things that they want to do. So then when you plan on going to Mozambique for any business or for any reason, you don't have a problem with that, because you actually do that peacefully and well, and then you come back and don't have any issue. So the people of Mozambique will always welcome you to do anything you want to do. Apart from business, you can go there for any other thing. You can just go there to, a lot of people will tell you they want to travel just because they want to do business and that's all. And then some people will tell you they want to go for, maybe they just want to go and have fun. They just want to go and explore. They want to experience the place. Someone can just tell you he has never been to that country, so he just wants to go for going sake. Then when you find yourself in that place, you just have to ask people around. You have to ask questions. Most importantly, you need to ask questions when you go to a new place for the first time, because you don't know what is allowed and what is not.
Allowed, of course.
When you find yourself in such places, you tend to just do things freely. No, maybe you might end up doing something and then you're offending somebody. Maybe by the way you're dressed, or maybe by the way you talk to someone, maybe by food you eat, or maybe something you do publicly. So then it's mostly advised that if you want to go to such a country or any other country at all that you've never been to, you need to make your research, you need to ask questions, you need to know if this place is actually good for me or not. And then if it is not, then you just back out, or you just decide, okay, fine, I'm going somewhere else. That's why it's advisable that if you're traveling, people in Mozambique are actually good people, and then they actually give you what you want. So then I don't think going to Mozambique is going to be a problem, in as much as the people can tell you, like someone was saying he has been to Mozambique like twice, but then he didn't really enjoy the weather and all of that, and then he was like he's not sure he wants to travel again. So now that is an experience. But then there's someone that has been there maybe once and then is wishing to go there for the second time or for the third time or for the fifth time, because he feels like, I want to go there, like what I went to do in this particular place, I was able to achieve it. So then if you're able to achieve whatever it is you have gone there to do, then you don't have a problem. And then people in Mozambique will actually let you do whatever it is you want to do, so far as they're going to gain their own profit, because it's building their government as well, it's giving them what they want. Whatever it is that you realize you're doing in Mozambique, don't have any fear, don't have any issues with it. Just do it with the whole of your heart, and then you end up realizing that you're achieving even lots more.
Of course. You know, you spoke about the person that went to Mozambique one time ago, like twice, and then he's coming back to regret or probably saying...
and then he's like, he doesn't want to go. And I was like, based on my research, like, I like the country.
You know, the thing is, I think that is based on his own experience. And I think experience matters a lot. You don't just, because of the fact that one person or one other person says,
this is his experience.
Yes, it's better you die with memories than dying with dreams.
True,
like you go
and have an experience.
You go and have the experience yourself, so that you come back and tell stories, even if just from your opening. Like it can be heartbreaking, it can be hurting, but then
you can just be that it's not comfortable.
The experience is what matters a lot, not just you sitting idle, maybe from like what you are known for is either from your place of work to the house, like every now and then, not frequenting, doing other things than business and all of those things. You can probably take out time to travel out, see new things, and have yourself being filled with memories. It's more of like you going to place and then have your mind being opened to other things or other new things that will probably give you that will refresh your soul and all of that. Do you know that traveling is also a sign of therapy too? It gives your mind this refreshing sort of thing that your mind will be refreshed, your soul will be at peace and all of those things. But by the time you are being seated in one particular place and then being how do I put this? Like when you are seated in a particular place and then realize that, okay, every now and then there is either one work or the other coming to my table and all of that, and then you are not thinking straight and all.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It's best to take out that break, that time to, cool off, have your mind refreshed, have your brain reset, and then come back and then you start all over again.
Actually,
I think that's a
for
very
me,
good thing.
I think mostly traveling is an experience for me. Like I remember when I was in school, I always tell myself I love to travel. Like I just want to have that experience of the trips. Like even if we're going to have any hardship on the road, even if we're going to have anything, like I just want to have that experience. At least I know I can talk about it, even if I was not happy at that moment. But then later it can be something that you laugh about. So then for me, I feel when you travel to a particular place, it's mostly for the experience. A lot of people will tell you that they hate to travel. Like I know of people that will tell me I can't travel long distance because I don't like, maybe they have phobia for heights and all of that, maybe fuel and everything. But for me, I feel like once you travel, you have the experience. You can tell someone, you can talk about it, even your children. You can just talk about it and just feel, okay, I have an experience of such thing. And then if you're traveling, you should do it like this and do it like that. It's advisable that if you travel and you have any bad experience, then you know the next time you're traveling, you take precaution. Like when you talk about people in Mozambique, mostly I want to talk about their women.
The role of women in
Yeah,
Mozambique.
the role of women in Mozambique. And then during the research, I learned that the women are actually the ones that keep the family together.
Of course.
And then when you talk about doing anything, like you see the women trying to do all it takes to bring food to the table, to give the children food, keep the family together, and do all sorts of things. And then the fact that they are hardworking is something welcoming to me. Like I feel inspired because you, as a woman, you do a lot of things that is going to bring your family together. You put food on the table, you take care of your children, even your husband, and all of that. Then you realize that the women will back their children and then hold a basket on the head, and then they go to the farm. From the farm, whatever it is they've harvested, they go to the market to sell it. And then when they sell all those things, then the money they realize at the end of it, they end up coming back home to prepare any meals, buy stuff to cook, and all of that for the family. Like it's actually touching for me because there are other places that women don't even feel like they can actually do anything for the family. They feel it's the role of the man.
I think even in this country, it's not as if it's actually their responsibility, but I think they are just trying to strive their way out of being idle, or them not being regarded as anything in the society and all, which is the reason why they are doing some of these things they are doing. If you check first from the research, it's the affection to their family, and which is why they are doing some of these things they are doing. Ideally, the responsibility of a house is supposed to be done by the man of the house and not the woman of the house. But I feel it's just for the affection, the affection for the family, the kids, and the husband. Or probably, if the husband is not doing well financially, they will find a way of supporting the family in other way, either by farms, or probably try to engage themselves into one business, or just to bring something miniature to the house, so that it will be as if the man is the one carrying the whole cup and everything. Yeah, so I just feel it's more of like them striving themselves to.
But at least it's more like, of course, like it's more like something good for you to know, because when you talk about the people in Mozambique, and then it's actually written out for you to know that the women are actually going out of their ways to do something for the family, it's actually something interesting. Because other people will tell you the husband is supposed to do all these things, I don't have a right, or maybe I can't even do this. Even if you're in the position to do something for the family, you end up not doing it because you feel it is the husband that is supposed to do it. And then for them to call, they said hospitality in Mozambique is actually something that they hold key to them, because like it's very important to them, because they want to give you whatever it is you want, whatever it is you desire. Even if you're a visitor that you just find yourself in Mozambique, they tend to give you that opportunity to do anything you want to do. That is why they call it the land of good people. Like I always emphasize on the land of good people. Mozambique is actually a place where you can go and do anything you want to do without trying to cheat anybody or even step on their pride. If you talk of doing business in Mozambique, you're welcome. If you talk of saying you just want to go for maybe sightseeing, you just want to go to relax and just have a quiet time for yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean that you go out. Maybe you can just stay in a particular place and just look outside and just see all the things, natural things outside. Like is welcoming to you.
True.
So then when you realize that you travel out to do anything, it's actually something enticing, because I always feel it is good for you to have an experience no matter what.
Of course.
If you have an experience, you have something to tell people. You leave maybe, let's say, your marks behind, or you leave something behind, something good behind for people to see, or for people to talk about, for you to see. Maybe when you're traveling, your family members are happy you're traveling. Then when you go somewhere else, people, when you realize that other people in a particular place fell in love with you, and then they also like whatever it is you have done for them, they will not even let you go. And then you realize you're leaving something important behind.
True.
You're leaving an experience behind, something that you can talk about, something that you can wish you can come back again to visit and maybe do something with them. If you realize all these things, then you know that you are welcome, and you know that you can do anything you want to do. So people in Mozambique are actually good people. They give you whatever it is you want, and then they just make you feel at home. So mostly when you travel out, especially to Mozambique, you don't have a problem, maybe safety and all of that. In as much as they will tell you to be safe, they'll tell you to be careful in some particular places, but then it's still advisable that if you travel, you should do whatever it is you want to do, and be careful at the end of it also. You don't end up doing something that is going to hurt you, or even hurt any of your family members, or end up doing something that is going to hurt someone there or wherever it is that you are.
And then talking about Mozambique, there is no way we talk about Mozambique and we'll not talk about the customs. When we're talking about customs, that's to do with their way of life as well too. And you, as a visitor traveling to Mozambique, you should try to know some of these things so that you know the cop to one thing. Now, if there is anything that Mozambicans really, really value a lot, is the act of greeting. Like they love greetings a lot, and there is no way you see the people of Mozambique having passing you by, or maybe one thing or the other, one acquaintance or the other, and then they will not greet you. Like, they value it a lot. And if by chance you happen to pass them by and then you are not greeting them, you'll either see it to be a rude thing, or maybe you not having manners, or you not well being trained at home and all of that. So some of these things are things that one is supposed to, take into much cognizance before traveling. Try to know some of these things so that you will not be seen as if you probably don't have manners, or you don't have one thing or the other in order to meet up to their own societal ethics and all. So I just feel, as a visitor, knowing the fact that they value greeting a lot, you don't have to necessarily see them before you start greeting. You can even start greeting from afar. Like, they value greeting in such a way that even if there is any formal meeting between them, they make sure that they greet first, like they greet each and everyone first. Yeah, before they start meeting. Or better still, they engage themselves into one conversation or the other before the formal meeting starts. So that is to tell that they value meeting a lot. And greeting is, for the fact that greeting is a sign of respect, I think they should as well, value respect among themselves.
Of course, when you talk about greetings, gestures, respect, and all of that, it is something like, in Africa, this is something that is very important. It's very common to us, because you can't just see an elderly person and not say hi to the person. Like, they see it as being rude and disrespectful. Like, growing up, I know that when you see an elderly person or elderly person passing, and then you don't say hi to the person, or you don't even help the person to take whatever it is that he has in his hands, they see you as disrespectful. They say you don't have good home bringing and all of that. Like, they just tend to say, who is your mother or who is your father? Now they tend to trace where you're coming from because it was disrespectful. So then people in Mozambique actually see that as very important to them when you talk about greetings and all of that. So if you are a visitor, and then, or maybe you plan on traveling to Mozambique, just make sure that you have this greeting attitude. Yeah, that habit. Just try to have it, because that is more, they consider that to be rude. Then when you talk about some formalities in Mozambique, you cannot just visit a Mozambican and then not have a snack. Even when they ask you to, you can't refuse it. They consider it being rude, as you not taking whatever it is they've offered to you. So then it's very interesting to know that, because the Mozambique is a land of good people, so then they are good people. So then they take it to be an offense if they offer you something to eat and then you don't eat it. It's actually something that, okay, maybe when they see you outside the house, it maybe is okay for them, for you not to accept it. But once you come visiting and you are in their house and they offer you a snack or offer you something to eat, you don't have a right to refuse, even if you're satisfied, or even if you're not hungry, even if you don't have any need for it, you just have to take it, because you consider it being rude. Then when you talk about outfit, when you talk about dressing, they take it very serious. You have to be very decent.
Yeah.
Because if you talk about wearing anything, they consider your ties to be private. to be part of your private body parts. So then when you expose it, they see it as you trying to be, you're offending them.
You always
and you're
expect
doing,
you to have it covered.
yeah, so they always expect you to have it covered. So then I feel it is actually good because you see, our girls today just feel like they can just wear anything
Our
and they're
girls, or
comfortable
we
with
girls
it.
today.
Our girls today, because I don't dress like that.
Okay.
Yes. So then when you talk about girls, yeah, of course there are a lot of them that will just wear anything they feel comfortable in, and then it is welcoming for them. But then I didn't grow up like that. For you to just expose your body like that, because what are you trying to do, or who are you trying to impress? And then most of them say will try to expose what is not even good for one to see. Do you understand? So then people in Mozambique they frown against that, for you to
indecent dressing.
Yes, indecent dressing. So it is actually advisable that if you want to visit Mozambique, if you want to have any business, no matter what you want to do in Mozambique, make sure you have decent dresses, so they don't just walk you out or send you back to where you're coming from, in case you don't want to avoid embarrassment.
One should also remember the fact that Mozambique consists of different religions, and one should have to be mindful of some of the things you say, so that you will not, probably be caught offending one religion or the other. Just try to be liberal, try to be objective, don't be subjected to one idea or one concept or religion or the other, so as to be on a safer ground. You are there to either enjoy yourself, or to make more money, or to explore, to anything that is your drive towards traveling. You're having been subjected to one idea of theirs there, it shouldn't be your major concern. Just go there, have your fun, make your money, and then you come back. And if possible, you want to stay there, fine. I think it's accepted.
And also, if you find yourself in Mozambique, make sure you don't take pictures of their buildings.
Yes,
because it is restricted without permission. So whatever it is you want to do, if you want to take any pictures, make sure you ask someone for permission, so they don't embarrass you or even end up snatching your phone and then they smash it, or end up doing something to you that you wouldn't like. So then if you find yourself in Mozambique, make sure you do the right thing and don't end up being disrespectful. Always do the needful and always do what is welcoming to you. So then we have said a lot of things about Mozambique. We will take a time out, and when we're back, we'll continue to tell you lots more about Mozambique. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. It's still the Midday Live Show on Echo Television International. We're talking about Mozambique, and we told you a lot of things about Mozambique, and we'll still continue to tell you lots more about it, and things you should do and things you should not do. I still have Tony in the studio with me. Welcome back, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
Always.
And then talking about Mozambique, there's no way you go to a country and then wouldn't be, curious to know about their hygiene, their appearances, their health, and everything. So it's very very important to know that, okay, in the sector of their health, in the sector of their hygiene, these are the things that I'm supposed to be aware of, so that I will not probably be ill or be victim of one sickness or the other. And knowing the fact that Mozambique is one of the countries that have high number of various diseases and all, you have to be careful. And as well, I mean, in that regard, maintaining a clean personal hygiene or appearance is a very important thing. So such many people should do their best they can to either avoid being a victim of one thing or the other. And what are the ways to which you can avoid stuff like this? One, you can be very careful with their water system. You don't just drink any water you see either by the roadside or just anywhere. I want to believe there are very luxurious hotels or resorts there. You can probably seek for recommendations of water that you can drink, or you can probably bathe with or stuff like that. You don't just have yourself thrown into drinking one random water or the other. And as well, be always mindful of raising your hands or washing your hands every now and then, because germs are things that you cannot see with your own. You cannot see with your eyes. Is just like alone. You have to be very careful so that you will not be befall one thing, or probably in the course of your journey to explore things, and then you are being sick and all that. So I think that's one of the major things that one should, take to mind
Yeah,
when traveling.
most importantly, if you're traveling to a country, you should have yourself checked. Like your medical checkup is something very important that you should have, and then you know what is wrong with you and you know what is not. So even if it means maybe you have any symptoms of malaria or something, you can treat it before you travel, so you end up not falling sick. And then if you find yourself eating something that is not good for your body, then you should avoid it. That's why most times I always advise that if you travel to a country that you've never been to, then you know what to eat. Always ask for maybe a cooked food, something that was processed well, so you'll be able to eat it and to digest well, so you don't end up falling sick. So then if you find yourself sick, then you know you have to help yourself out by going to see a medical doctor for checkups and all of that. And then when they say you should always avoid trying to laugh at someone or mock someone when he's sick. They said you should try as much as possible to avoid it. Like, it's more like, how would you feel when you see someone that is sick and then you end up laughing at that person?
Or you being the person sick and then you see someone laughing at
I see someone like, yeah, or maybe you're limping, or maybe something. Someone is trying to imitate you, or someone trying to say something to you that is just going to get at you. Of course, it's painful. So then they always advise people, in as much as they are good people, that does not mean you should take advantage of them being good. Then they're talking about businesses and attires to wear when you go for any business trip. They always tell you that you should be punctual.
You can dress like the way I'm dressed.
Yeah, of course, you should dress decently and corporately dressed, and then just like the way you have. So then they said when you're having any business trip or a business meeting or something in Mozambique, always be punctual. Don't end up going to a place where they said they always complain for visitors that come for business trips, for meetings and all of that. They end up not coming early. They end up not keeping to time. So then said as much as it lies within you, try to go early, try to be punctual, try to be there. Maybe when they tell you this is a particular time you should be here, make sure you're there maybe 10 minutes to that time, at least to show the difference. So then please, if you're going to Mozambique, based on what we just said today, try to hit this warning. At least it will help you, it will help us, so you don't just go and embarrass us. At least it shows that you're able to learn something from us. So then you should keep to time, because most times a lot of people don't keep to time whatsoever. They can just tell you that I have something to do, maybe I was doing something and something came up, so they won't even keep.
An excuse or the other.
That would be an excuse. So then they hate excuses. That is why they always say you should dress, even for the women and for the men, you should always dress properly and not just show any part that is revealing, or don't look decent and all of that. They frown against all such things. So if you have any business trip, make sure you have all the things about what you want to wear and what you don't want to wear. And then asking people about health and engagement in small places before you go down for business, it is normal. Like when you ask people, maybe when you want to go to a particular place and you don't know or you can't locate the place, it's good to ask. Somebody like me, I love to ask questions a lot.
Of course.
Like I think there was a place we traveled that I was sent on a trip and I didn't know what to do. Like when I got to place, like places, how to locate places, I had to ask questions. Most times, even when you use the Google Map, sometimes it can take you through another route, but then it will still take you to wherever it is you're going to. But then it will take your time. So then it's actually very good for you to ask questions. So people in Mozambique will always advise you that when you find yourself in Mozambique, always ask questions about where you're going to. They said it's normal. So don't just feel bad. Don't feel like it is someone will laugh at you or someone will see you and be like, how come you don't know this particular place? They said you should just feel at home, feel normal. It is normal for you to ask questions around.
Of course. And then talking about the social etiquette, they said women shouldn't touch a man unless they are interested in being romantically involved with you. So you don't just go about either touching women and harassing them and all of that. I think even ideally is a very bad thing to do. You don't just see a woman on the road or a lady on the road and then you start. I see that to be an embarrassment on yourself, because I don't think it's someone with his or her right senses would want to do something like that. So even there, you don't just go there and start, touching women unless you are emotionally or romantically attached to that person. Or I don't think even to shake hands, I think it has to be you're being conversant with that particular person before having
they shake hands when they meet.
Being shaken to one another, probably in the regards of being friends and all of that. So it's one thing to take note of. And then number two thing is personal space is normally an arm's length away from someone. That is not the same way standing in queue anyway, but then try to give someone an arm's length when you are probably, say, working or one way or the other, shall just try as much as possible to be abstinent.
Okay.
So,
just try to do the needful. Just try not to. Yeah.
And then they are known for socializing. They are known for, you know, having partying around and all of that. Try as much as possible to be involved too. Don't just have yourself locked up in the resort.
Yeah, of course, because they'll always welcome you to do whatever it is.
Just have yourself partying. If you're not the party type, you can even go to a bar and have yourself entertain with the things that they are doing and all of that. And
yeah, they said holding hands in public for men. They said, like, it's actually awkward to see a man and a man working together and they're holding each other. So, like, they frown at that, like, it's not welcomed at all. So then, and then they said men will always shake hands with any man they meet on the street. Then they can, if they know you, they can go further by giving you a hug as well. And then women will do that. I said they can shake hands, even if they don't know you. They try to shake hands with you just to make you feel welcomed, just make you feel at home. But then said don't exceed it, because sometimes you might meet someone that is not in a good mood. They end up trying to hug that person. The person can push you or can do something to you. So then if you're traveling, you need to ask a lot of questions in order not to get embarrassed for any reason, in order not to end up falling a victim of maybe someone trying to hurt you because you did not ask questions. That was why I said it is good to ask questions. It is good for you to have an experience whatsoever. So then if you are traveling, Mozambicans will always welcome you because they are good people, but then don't take what they give you for granted.
And then there's no way you will go to a place and then not know their tourist attractions.
No, of course.
So one of the tourist attractions we have there in Mozambique is the Maputo. Maputo is actually the capital city of Mozambique. And, you know, there is a way the capital city is always beautiful, like it's designed to be beautiful. You see great things of wonder, how things are being built magnificently to attract people, to, you know, to wow people and all of that. And it's a country, I mean, it's a city that is one of the, it's not even the one of the, it's the largest in all of the country, I mean, in all of that country.
City,
yeah, in that country. So it's something to behold, it's something to see, it's something to, you know, have yourself being entwined with and all of that. Then number two is the Bazarato. I think you should talk about that for us.
Bazaruto is one of the crown jewels along the 2,005-kilometer coastline of Mozambique. The people who travel there explore in the island, and then they do a lot of, they said there's a turquoise water of the Indian Ocean and teeming marine life below the surface. So although the deserted beaches of this island group and flocks will look good on your Instagram timeline, but then the primary reason most people venture here for the rich biodiversity seen in the vast blue beyond spectacular starbars. You will find elusive whales. So then you find a lot of things in this place where you just go to visit and do whatever it is you want to do. So diving in the most engaging activity is the most engaging activity there. So then if you find yourself, if you know you cannot swim, don't dive into it, because if you dive into it and then you end up not, maybe you end up hurting yourself, or you can't swim, or you end up dying. What if you don't know how to swim and you want to? Then don't dive. You want to learn in such a place. Like that place is deep, and that's why they advise if you can't swim, don't dive into it. So it's more like an advice given to you, asking for someone. I'm asking for someone. You're asking for a friend. So please, if you want to dive, make sure you ask for the particular place where you should dive, like the location, so you don't end up diving in a place that is very deep and then you can't swim, you end up dying, or before someone can come to rescue you, to be too late. So then let's be careful with that.
Now we have the Limpopo National Park.
I know, I knew you were waiting to talk about this Limpopo National Park. Like, I was anxious to just, like, I was waiting for you to say.
Wow, really?
Like, you didn't just wait for me to talk about
but
it.
Why?
Okay, talk about
why?
it. Like, talk about it.
I think the reason why the Limpopo National Park to me sounds familiar is one of the, I mean, because of the fact that one of these secular musicians actually sang about it, and which is why I think maybe he got the name from this particular national park. And although it's a very vast international park, it's a park that is filled up with lots of animals. We're talking about animals, you talk about elephants, you talk about lions, you talk about zebras, like a lot of things. And it's also a national park that shares boundary with South Africa. So to tell you the vast land that is embedded inside the national park. So I think it's a country, sorry, it's a place that one should, you know, see for yourself. And you don't just go to such national park and trek. or go
Of
by
course
foot.
now.
There are safaris jeep that you can use in
Yeah, to
going
transport
around and
yourself,
all
going
of
out
that.
to see all
If
animals.
if you want to go by leg, I wonder where and how many
How
places you'll
you
be able
can
to
go to
go.
if you
Yeah.
want to actually explore,
Yeah,
then you
so it's
should
best you
have,
get a jeep or something that
yeah,
will
something
take
that
you
needs to
around.
transport you
Yeah.
around, so you don't end up, in fact, so you don't end up getting any animal that will even harm you. Said like
Honestly.
somebody like me that can be scared of all these things, especially when I see them close to me. So then it's advisable that you get someone that's going to be with you to show you places and even transport you through all these places, so you can have an experience. Like we said, traveling is an experience. Always travel to have an experience whatsoever. People tell you they don't want to travel because they are scared and all of that, but then I feel it is very important for you to travel because you get to learn a lot of things, you get to know a lot of things, you get to see a lot of places, and then you have an experience of whatever it is you want to do. So then don't always be scared to travel. Travel to have an experience, travel to come back and tell other people about it. Just we were talking about the Mozambicans, they are good people. It is a land of good people, so then they will welcome you. Just try your best and travel. At least you'll be able to have an experience and do whatever it is you want to do. So then another tourist site we have Tofo, said is the modest seaside town with 5,000 inhabitants and around 500 kilometers north of the Maputo, which is the capital of Mozambique.
Yeah.
So then it says that it is half of it, that's part of it in which you can actually go to do anything you want to do. And then while the number of inhabitants is quite unassuming, Tofo's qualities lie beyond tiny town center. Then on land, the sand dunes invite for some neat photography or an off-road adventure on a quick bike. So then you can actually take a bike, you can snap pictures or do whatever it is by the beach. You can stay, just have an experience, just enjoy yourself. Even if you're a diver, it said Tofo may already have been noted on your list of places to visit before land, but then the giants of the ocean congregate in the Platon-rich water. So then whatever it is you want to do, make sure you're careful. Like I'll always say, whatever it is you want to do, wherever it is you want to enter, be careful by the side. Like me, when I go to all these beaches, I think I can just stay beside it. Like, let me just have the experience by the side, so I don't end up killing myself.
No, there's no experience now.
No problem. It's experience to me. Thank you. Let me end up dying.
That's a waste of money for me.
No, sir, it's not, because then you go and snap all the pictures. You have the fun beside it, like you walk by it. Like it's still an experience.
Okay.
For me, though, that's what I call fun sometimes. So.
And then talking about Mozambique, you have to talk about the networking system of theirs too. They said in every place we stayed during, you can stay during your time in Mozambique, there is no Wi-Fi or there is no any working internet there. The only internet there is, I think, Vodafone and then one other M-Cell, which are the common networking system there in Mozambique, because their network system is still developing. And besides, I see no reason why you should probably go there. I would want to have yourself engrossed in social networking at all. You are going there to socialize, and social network is on the net, so you can go there and have your natural socializing and then have pictures and all of those things. That you can come back and share pictures on all of these things on your social media handles and all. But for the fact that you are traveling and then going there to have yourself distracted with social media is another thing entirely. And probably you'll be limited to some certain things of which you're supposed to do, socialize naturally.
So then it means you should not end up being on the internet, but then
I'm not saying you shouldn't be there completely, but
at least
limit your stay there. Yes.
Yeah, actually to have fun. So we've been talking about all the experiences and all of that. At least let's have an experience, a little experience about the food, because when you talk about traveling, when you talk about being in a new place, you have to try a lot of things just to have an experience. Because I said traveling, you have to have an experience whatsoever. So then you have to taste their meal, even if it's just one meal, even if it's two, at least have an experience of it, and how it feels like to eat it and what it feels like in your body. And then first of them, we have the zima. They said is actually pronounced as the shima, which is their food. They're like one of the meal that you can actually give to you at any time that you can prepare. It's more like, they said is a Mozambican porridge style dish. It's prepared using maize or corn flour. So then it is considered to be a staple dish of Mozambican cuisine, as I said. So then it's more like something they can give to you to welcome you. Like some cultures, if you go, they have something they can give to you. Some can give you something different for you to just eat, and then that means they've welcomed you. Some can just give you water to drink, them, it means they welcomed you. And some people, when they just tell you come inside the house and just have a seat, they've still welcomed you into their house. So then people in Mozambique can give you shima for you to eat. They prepare it themselves, and then they do it in such a way that when you eat it, you want to have eat again. So then they give it to you and then make you feel at home. They welcome you and give you whatever it is they want to give you, and then you don't need to reject it. As I said, when you visit any Mozambican's home, it is actually prohibited for you to reject anything they give to you to eat, or when they offer a place for you to spend the night. Don't always reject it, because they want to show you how good they are. They want to show you what they can offer to you. So don't always show them that maybe you feel like maybe their place is not good enough for you, or maybe it is not something you can do. But then just, why not just express yourself? Why not just be with them? At least they welcomed you. It's not easy for someone to just welcome you into his house and give you food to eat.
Of course.
In these days that a lot of people are having difficulties in having food, or all these things. So then for them to actually welcome you and give you their food is something for you to be excited about.
Of truth. And then talking about one of their food is prawns. It's one of the, I think, common food that is eaten there, and it's added to many dishes. Although, and then the classical way of cooking prawns in Zimbabwe is to grate them with piri, or prepare them with coconut milk. You know, all of these things are available at affordable prices. You can get them at any shop, any restaurant, and all of that. Or then prawns, I think these prawns to me is, it looks, I don't know, it looks
that's to you, but then to them it is something that they love to have. So even when they give to you and you don't want to have it, you just have to taste it. So maybe when you, okay, what if you go to visit one of them and then that is what they offer to you? You don't have a choice, because they consider it being rude when they give you something to you. So why not just have a try? And even if it's a little, maybe, okay, for you to be fair to them, when they give you can tell them to just give you a little, so they can reduce it. At least you can just eat it, just to make them feel that you're with them, not like you're against them for any reason.
Seeing these prawns looks like cockroach to me.
Wow. That is what they want. That is their own. Do you understand? So then most times when they tell you this is what it's like, a lot of places when you travel to, you might see something you don't want to eat. You might see something that is not pleasing to you. So then no one is forcing you to eat it. Especially when you go to the restaurant, or when you go to a place where you know you want to have a meal or something, then you can just ask of something you can eat. So most times I feel it is okay for you to ask how this is prepared, or if I can eat this. I'm a visitor in this place. And then said it's very normal. It's actually acceptable if you ask questions, so you don't end up embarrassing yourself or embarrassing any other person. So I talked about the mukapata. It's the side dish that falls somewhat between grits and shima. It is prepared using beans, coconut milk, and rice. It's mashed together. It is generally served along with a stew or curry. So then it is actually another part of their meal, or something they can actually give to you, they can prepare to eat. Then once they do that, it can be served. It's more like rice or something that you can just eat with stew and all of that. Like just to, I know that some places can have something that maybe you feel you cannot eat this, or maybe you feel it's not sweet or something. But then it is their own food. It is their own part. So then when you travel to a particular place, make sure you eat something that you want to eat. Don't end up, for me, I feel if I should travel to maybe a place where I know their food is not something I can eat, maybe I think it's better to eat snacks all through. Because so that you don't end up hurting yourself or destroying your system and then you end up falling sick. But then when you know you're going to have maybe any of all these snacks, at least it will go a long way. Let's say you have a 1 week trip or 2, and then you want to try something, when you make friends there, you can just try. They can advise you.
There are varieties of food. If this one doesn't work for you, then the other
and then
one
there's another one for you to eat. Of course, that is why it's good for you to ask questions. That is why it's good for you to know that if this meal is not okay for me, then another one should be okay. But then don't end up ordering for different meals and then you end up not eating anyone. That's disrespectful.
That's very true. And then we have asada kalinha. This is a flamed grilled chicken, generally marinated in peri-peri sauce. The dish is considered to be a staple, and there are many different variations of this. I think this is generally more of like chicken sauce, prepared with, I think this peri-peri thing, I think is their normal way of cooking, or is a thing that is used for cooking in their own, maybe one of those spices that spices up food and all of that. But then to me, it's just a normal chicken sauce for me that I can easily devour and enjoy myself. And if there's a way I can order for more.
Wow. Of course, I always say that when you try something new and you enjoy it, why not try it again? Like, why not keep, that's why I said you cannot just end up eating just one thing, or you cannot end up saying you can't even try any of the meals. But then when you realize that they have different meals that you cannot eat, and then you finally find something that you can eat, then why not just continue ordering for that particular thing for you to continue eating? Since you enjoy this particular one, they have different delicacies. So then you have a right to ask for anything. You have the right to ask for any of the meals for you to have. So then if you talk about having anything, if you travel out, I'll always say, make sure you don't eat something that is going to affect you. Make sure you don't eat something that is going to make you fall ill. At least always ask questions, which they said it is actually good for you to ask questions. It's a normal thing. Don't feel your loss, or don't be ashamed of yourself that you don't want to ask a question because you are scared they will laugh at you or feel you're a visitor. No, you're a visitor. We all know you're a visitor in a particular place. So why not ask your question so you can be able to have an experience of whatever it is you want to have. Then they have different meals. They have a lot of meals that you can actually say
Like
you
a
want
lot
to
of them,
take.
like
A lot of
over
like a lot of
20.
them. Of course, there are places that have different meals. Like they can have up to 50 different kind of meals, like for you to have an experience. So it's not, don't limit yourself to just eating one. We have the chamusa. It's chamusa at triangular, and then it's stuffed patties influenced by the Indian samosa. Like I was saying, like when you have like all these snacks, and then this is more like a snack to them. So this feeling of Mozambican chamusa include meat, fish, potatoes, or cheese. Like when I was saying that, like it is generally assumed as a street food or a snack in between meals. It can easily be found in large cities like Maputo, which is the capital city, and Ihambe. So then when you see that, you know, like, well, we call it small chops over here in the part of the world, and then there it is actually what they call the chamusas.
You know, the thing is, some of these foods are common foods that even
of course
even,
it's just the
yeah,
names,
it's just the name that
and then
differs.
how they prepare, because
the
most times you can
preparation
just
too
use
differs
something else
too.
to prepare, and then you
There
end
are
up not
common foods that
understanding
you
what
can
it
find
is.
anywhere too.
Yeah,
So
of course.
you don't
So
just
then
go there and start forming.
and start thinking like this is different or something, because it's mostly maybe it's just from the name, and then you realize maybe it's something different. When you go to a restaurant, they can tell you a name of something, and then you end up asking yourself, what is this, like what is that, and then you end up embarrassing yourself. That is why it's always good for you to ask questions so you don't end up getting embarrassed.
That's true. Then talking about one of the last food I think we should talk about is the matapa.
Matapa.
The matapa is a dish prepared using stewed cassava leaves mixed with ground peanuts, garlic, and coconut milk. Generally, matapa is occupied by rice as a main dish, then with smoked scraps or shrimps included in the stew for additional flavor. So I think this is more of like a normal food that is eaten by, I don't really know how to explain this, but then I think it's one of their traditional foods.
Yeah, of course, it looks like a traditional food,
you-
but they can eat it with rice and eat it with anything. They said they have crabs, shrimp, included the stew, and then it has different flavors. Then it's the way they prepare it. Most people can have a problem with it, but others, they will enjoy it, especially if you are a Mozambican. You don't have a problem with it because you can eat it at any time. It is welcoming for you to have anything you want and do anything you want. Like, don't just
it can
feel...
even be medicinal.
It can be medicinal because,
Cassava
yeah,
leaves,
of course,
it can
yeah,
be
cassava
medicinal.
leaves, of
So
course.
don't
But
limit your thinking to how it looks, but think of probably the effect of how the thing can goes down to your tummy or something.
yeah, and also, okay, I think our time is fast spent, but then education in Mozambique is compulsory
Very, very
at every level. So then if you find yourself, if you know you are a Mozambican, you should know that education
is compulsory.
is important, is compulsory for you. This is all we can take today on the Midday Show on Echo Television International. I hope you had a swell time. Of course, we talked about Mozambique, and I had fun talking about Mozambique. So did Tony.
Of
course, I know you did. So thank you for staying with us, viewers, and I hope you have a blessed day.